love spotting pretty vintage details on the recent catwalks. And this collar by Skipperelli was a great example. It's timeless, it's popped up lots in different vintage designs, and it's also really easy to draft and a great detail to add to any coat you might be working on. If you love the idea of easily pattern cutting, designing and pattern hacking your sewing patterns, do have a look at the link in the description on how you can do so with me. Now let's have a look at this Schiaparelli collar. And what it basically is, and I am a fan of sort of all the English fabrics, which is probably why I moved to England. But I love a tweed, I love a houndstooth, all the sort of wool fabric. This is a really nice one. And all it is basically, I'm not gonna do it justice, is you have your crew neckline, your normal neckline like this. You have quite a nice single button stand, and I use sort of gold buttons, which sometimes I'm not a fan of, but they work really well here. Because classically, of course, it's the English style, you do self-covered. You would do leather, maybe like a horn, but on here the gold works really well. But then all what happens is that you have I would basically do, I would cut a piece of fabric probably like this, like the sort of scarf fabric I want, yeah, and I would actually tie it round myself and get it exactly the right length that the knot, because it's just sort of pulled through, is a single knot, isn't it? I would work out it's the right height, all these sort of things, and then what you basically do is you attach it to here. So this is your center back. But it's really nicely done is that this edge is leather bound, or something which looks like leather. So you could have matching leather buttons as well, which would be beautiful. And then what you do with the collar is, let's see how I can draw it. You have the collar stitched in like a really high stand collar, and then at this point it basically becomes loose. And it just looks like that. And it's loose, and then you can just knot it. So this side we've done underneath, and then inside, and the other on the outside. And then it looks like we've just lined it in a matching plain fabric. But it's a really nice quick details, and you know, you could add that to lots of different wool jackets, maybe even a brushed like a brushed cotton. And if you made it much smaller, and that's sort of been happening in summer quite a lot, is where you won't actually end up with quite a nice little detail. So you can see how by blowing up what is quite a pretty little detail, which is basically just a stand collar with extra, can become really glamorous, or vice versa. And of course, what you could do if you didn't always want to have it, so if you wanted this coat to be really wearable but you wanted to add this detail, you could actually make it detachable. So you could have it like as a crew neck collar, and then you could have either little buttons, or yeah, probably little buttons, and you could button it on if you wanted to, or have a little just made with a zip as well. That would be a nice detail as well if it was detachable. But you can see how easy it is, and it gives a lot of instant glamour.